I had a very complicated relationship with my dad, and it was really, there was a foundation of tough love with my father. When I said to him, I want to get into the professional wrestling business, it's in my blood, and I felt like I had something to offer, but at that time we were living in a small apartment in Tampa, Florida, and he said, look around, this is what I have. I don't have anything, and I don't want that for you. We were 14 years old, we lived in Hawaii, and we lived in a small efficiency apartment. And my mom and I came home, and I'll never forget, the rent was $180 a week. And there was an eviction, a week, and there was an eviction notice on the door. And this was the one, it was the final eviction notice. Like, that's the one. My mom started crying, and I never forgot in that moment. It was a seminal moment for me because I felt like, I never want to be in this position again. What can I do? So at 14 years old, I thought, well, the heroes in my life, Muhammad Ali, for example, professional wrestlers, they're all men who have worked hard with their hands and they built their body. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do what my dad taught me and these other heroes. I'm gonna go build my body so we're never evicted again. But being evicted, by the way, as you were saying, has not only given me just great perspective, but also great gratitude, but also, and my team and my family, we laugh at it, but I feel this way, like, oh, well, you know, we're a month away from being evicted. I got to go to work. Like, I still have that in my head. You still have that. I still have that in my head, you know, but it keeps you grounded, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I that's why the most this and the most that, again, it's wonderful, but the alternative is what I once was. First thing I splurged on. So when I was a kid, 14 years old, 13, 14 years old, in my mind, what it meant to be successful, it was a Rolex watch. Right. So there was such a valuable lesson out of this. So I thought for years, oh wait, every successful man has a Rolex watch and has diamonds in it. So when I finally was making a little bit of money, and this was in 1999, and I thought, okay, and this, by the way, I was still living in an apartment, paying monthly rent, but this is what not to do. So I thought, this is it, I'm gonna splurge, and I went and I got myself a Rolex, and I wore it. At that time I was wrestling, I wore it in the ring, not for a match, but I was doing an interview in the ring. And I wore it in the ring, and a melee broke out, which always happens in the wild world of professional wrestling. One of the wrestlers fell on the Rolex when it came off. It broke. Live TV, and you see me, oh my gosh, my Rolex. Like you could see the tail. I'm trying to get my Rolex and somebody's like kicking me and they're trying to get it. So I finally get my Rolex back. I go backstage and I look at it. I'm heartbroken now. This is my thing. And I go home that night and I remember immediately thinking, this is a sign. And
I believe in signs.
Yes, it's a sign.
Yeah.
And I will, and I don't need it, and it wasn't right for me at that time, and I never got anything like that again. It was a turning point in my career, and it really allowed me to grow, and it really allowed me just to be me and be anchored in with who I am. So when I first started wrestling, the idea was, well, why don't you call yourself Rocky Maivia? Out of respect for your dad, Rocky Johnson, and your grandfather, Peter Maivia. I hated the name. And I thought, well, I just wanted to make my own way. And I wanted to be independent. I love my family, but I don't want to do it like that because it feels like I'm trying to leverage their fame. The powers that be said, nope, that's your name. I was also told, well, when you go out and you wrestle, you have to smile. I want you to smile big. This is in the WWE.
Why are you smiling if you don't beat people up?
Because, well, the idea was I was a rookie in the wrestling business. I was the wrestling business is a term called babyface, which is a good guy. I was being groomed as a good guy, wrestler. Young, the idea was you're grateful. Grateful for the opportunity, so when you go out there, I want you to smile. You can't smile enough. And I thought, well, what if I lose? Nope. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Still got to smile, and it just didn't feel right. That didn't sit right with me. So a few months later, the company made me the Intercontinental Champion. And then A month later, we go into the annual biggest event. It's like the Super Bowl of wrestling, WrestleMania, and it was WrestleMania 13. By the time I got to Chicago, WrestleMania, 16,000 people in the middle of the ring. When I was in the ring, and I'm supposed to be a good guy, and you're supposed to cheer me, 16,000 people were chanting "Rocky sucks." 16,000. And I remember laying there in the ring, and the referee said to me, "Don't listen to him," and it was crippling for me.
Yeah.
But so then, at that time, the powers that be thought, this isn't going to work, and for whatever reason, people are not liking you and they're not connecting with you. And so in that moment, it was very defining, because I asked then if I could just be myself. And if I could go out there and if I can speak to the crowd, and if I could just be myself and be authentic, and if I don't want to smile, I don't smile. If I want to laugh, I laugh. If I want to sing, I sing. Whatever it is, I just want to be me. Can I have that for 1 minute of live TV time? Powers that be at that time, Vince McMahon, said, "You got it." So on Raw, live TV, I grabbed a microphone and I said, I may be a lot of things, but sucks isn't one of them. And I said something to the effect of, basically, it's not a this thing, it's not a that thing, it's a me being myself thing. And before you know it, I guess the moral of the story is the importance and the power of finding your identity and being true to who you are. Even in that wild world of pro wrestling, it still applies to everyone in the room, and how powerful that could be, because it was a true shift and click moment. And I never looked back, and I became, fortunately, the biggest draw that the business has ever seen. I do, so what that means is I still see every opportunity that I have as like a little crack in the wall, a little scratch, and it's almost as if like every opportunity the scratch represents every opportunity. Therefore, the success on the other side of the scratch is the light. Scratching hard, clawing, digging, it's that mentality to really take advantage of every opportunity I have. So,
have you reached a point where you accept your success? Like the world sees it, we all know it, 169 million Insta followers. Have you accepted it? Do you believe it? Have you owned it for yourself?
I have today, yes. And not, well, but in this, yes, this time in my life.
Yeah.
Yes, because there was a time where I wasn't quite too sure if I was confident enough as to the why and why it was happening and what am I doing, because it wasn't very systematic. It wasn't, not like I had a big blueprint, because there really wasn't a blueprint for me to follow when I came from wrestling to Hollywood. There wasn't a, oh look, just do it like that other black Samoan guy did it.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be great.
Yeah.
Because at that time, the biggest movie stars in the world were George Clooney, and I'll never forget, we were on I-75. He lived in Tampa, came to Miami, got in his pickup truck. We drove up I-75. And I'm 23 years old. I am forced to move back in with my parents, which I was, you know, because you want to tackle the world and you have all these dreams, and none of it came true. And it was also hard because all my friends around me, those teammates, they were NFL stars and they became millionaires buying their parents a home. You know, that's the thing, you want to buy your mom a home. So I said, I wonder how much money I have. And I took out my wallet and I had a 5, a 1, and some change. And at least I rounded up. I'm optimistic. So I thought, oh, I have $7. And now everything, my production company and all marketing, everything is $7.